good morning and welcome to Quest Today. Yes, today is the 26th day in the month of December in the year 2023. A lovely Tuesday here in the studios in Ughelli, and I am using this opportunity to wish you a Merry Christmas from Quest Television and Quest Radio. Well, it is now time for us to head into the headlines and see what's making the rounds on the front pages of the dailies. My name is Orikemi Mariam, and welcome to the newspaper review here on Quest Today. Making a return back to you this morning are three newspapers. We have the Punch newspaper, we have the Nation newspaper, as well as the Daily Trust. But something else you can trust is Comrade Efe Odomo being here this morning in the studio. Regardless of the fact that it is the Boxing Day, he has decided to grace us with his presence and help us enlighten us on the headlines that made the rounds. Good morning and Merry Christmas.
Yes, we just said today is Boxing Day. I knew quite well that something may be happening, and that's why I decided to dress like this, so that no matter how you provoke me, I will not go into boxing ring with you.
Well, I have no plans on provoking you. Well, let's see if we have any headlines that will challenge you this morning.
Let's hope so.
Yes, the first paper for review this morning will be The Nation. On the front page of the Nation newspaper, the major headline states probe into $500 million Union Bank acquisition widens. Yes, right up there says special investigator invites ex-CBN deputy governor and others. Well, it seems, comrade, while we were away, so I don't know what was happening at Union Bank. It seems as though there's an alleged acquisition of the Union Bank. What's your take on this?
I think Union Bank has only been acquired for some time now. Only that it has been it's not in the front burner. But people are now raising eyebrow that the acquisition was done through the bank, but it was not properly done as it should be. But they should have discussed this matter long ago, because that should have been under either Buffett or the CBN supervision. I don't know why the matter is coming up now. Maybe somebody that was short-changed is now realizing that he's not given his proper right and is now raising the dust. More especially now that the umpire, the former umpire of Nigerian banks is in the dock. Everybody wants to put him under the carpet, and which is not too good for us. But that also goes a long way to show that when you're in a position, make your hands clean, because one day somebody will come from somewhere to come and ask for your day of reckoning. In that case, nobody will be able to come to your rescue.
Well, at this point, you can read more on that story on page 2 of the Nation newspaper, but I do believe it's making a rounds on all the dailies. But like I said, read that story on page 2 of the Nation. Moving away from that, moving above the masthead on the front page of the Nation, it says 50 killed in attacks on Plateau communities. Yes, it seems to be making a round on all the dailies as well. It's quite a sad incident there.
This is a thing that will never go away. This is killings in the north.
Do you really think it will never go away?
With the way they are handling it, it will never go away, because you cannot treat terrorists with kid gloves. I'm very sorry to say that. It's only in Nigeria that you negotiate with terrorists. You see somebody is a terrorist, you don't know them, but you sit on the roundtable conference to discuss with them. So who is fooling who? Look at the way they treat terrorists in other countries that we are all sharing the same continent. Let us even not go to Europe. See what happened in Burkina Faso. See what is happening in Mali. How are they being treated? But in Nigeria, they will pass another to the military. Do not kill them. Do not shoot to kill them. Arrest them. Then bring them for trial. Not even trial. Rehabilitate them. De-radicalize them. I don't know how you can de-radicalize a terrorist. One did say one day when they were interviewing him that they should better kill him. Because if they let him go, he will continue killing the Christians. That was the language he used. But still, they were begging him to be de-radicalized. I don't know where that language is coming from. If somebody burst into your house and say, okay, I'm very sorry that you burst into my house, you can go. And you expect the person to go away. It's not just possible. We are just empowering them. They are taking that business as a cash cow. And nobody ever leaves any business that gives them so much money.
Well, more on that story you can get on page 26 of the Nation newspaper. But moving ahead, we have a federal government extends 50% rebate to non-luxury bus passengers in Abuja. Yes, that story is making it to page 5 of the Nation newspaper. Moving on, we have presidents, governor and senators and also others greet Gonjuge at 74. Yes, a happy birthday to him, but more story on that you can get on page 6. Christian leaders pray for peace and success of Tinubu's government. It's also making it to the front page.
I'm very surprised. I'm a Christian, yes. There is no way prayers will solve what you don't do with your physical hand. You start doing something, then prayers will support. You are not doing anything. It's just like now, you are seated here. I know quite well that by this coming year, everything maritally you will be blessed. But I start praying for you to be pregnant. When you don't, when there is something leading to pregnancy. So is it possible? How do you decree that into existence? You don't decree what is physical. You decree what is in the spiritual. Nigeria should be set on a rolling plan. We don't have a rolling plan. We don't have any plan for the future. You are saying that they are praying for the sources of who is going to do the work.
But comrade, it's been said that prayer is the key.
Is the key? What of the door? Do you put key in the vacuum? If there is no door, can you put key? Has anybody ever talked about that? Has any preacher ever talked about that? Prayer is the key. Prayer is the key. Prayer. Jesus started with prayer. Did Jesus ever rest when he was on earth? He evangelized throughout the whole period. Even at the age of 12. When he went to the synagogue and he stayed behind, what was he doing? He was evangelizing. Did he just sit down and say, okay, let us pray, let us pray? No. When the parents came back, he said, look, I have to do my father's work. He didn't say, I have to continue my father's prayer. I have to do my father's work. That's what he told the parents.
Well, more of that story you can read on page 2 of the Nation newspaper. But moving away from that and below the masthead, Pope calls for peace among warring nations and denounces weapons industry. Yes, you can read more on that on page 30 of the Nation. Moving on to another interesting headline there. It says, Fubara, Abuja Peace Pact, not death sentence. The writer there say it's a path to stability in rivers. Yes, you can read more on that on page 2. And moving on, we have investors return hits, 12.4 trillion naira in yield to trading. You can read more details on that on page 9. 9 killed and 3 injured in Osun Christmas Day accident. Yes, because quite a sad one there. But you can get more details on that on page 27 of the Nation newspaper. And that's much we can take on the front page of the Nation. The next paper for review is the Daily Trust. On the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper this morning, 145 killed as bandits attacked 23 plateau villages. Yes, the writers there, we have about 3 of them, says residents seeks international community's help. And Governor Mufwang urges vigilance. And the final writer there says take ownership of security, defense chief tells Nigerians. Yes, more details on that on page 4. Take ownership of security, defense chief tells Nigerians. Comrade, what's your reaction to that?
Who's taking over the security of Nigeria?
Well, the defense chief has told Nigerians to take ownership of their security. What's your take on that?
The federal government no longer responsible for our security.
Well, I'm asking you to enlighten on that matter.
Now, if I have to carry guns to protect myself, will the police allow me to go freely with it on the street of Nigerians? Are they telling us that the security apparatus have failed in their duties to secure us? Because part of the mandate given to any government, whether elected or through the barrels of the gun, is security. If the nation is not secured, then there can never be development at all. Look at every nation that is fighting wars now. Can you talk of development when you are not sure of your tomorrow? If they want to tell us that everybody should take care of his own security, then legalize the use of arms. I cannot use cutlass.
But do you think legalizing the use of arms right now in this country will not even worsen the security issues we have on ground?
If we do not worsen it, and you who are supposed to take care of me is telling me that I should take my own security in my hands. What do I use to secure myself? Do we go to a native doctor and start preparing charms and wearing charms on that before we wear dress on top? Is that a security? Is it allowed? So there are some statements we should not even make at all. Tell us you are tackling the security situation. Then everybody will go to rise. But now you told us take care of your own security, which means you are not even secured. If you are under threat, whom do you now run to? Everybody's on his own.
Well, 145 people killed as bandits attacked 23 plateau villages. Quite a sad one there. May their souls rest in peace. But like I said, read more details on that on page 4 of the Daily Trust. Moving above the leading story, implementation of Tinubu's resolution not at detriment of my freedom, says Fubara. Seems as though, like I usually like to say, the saga has not ended in Rivers State. And Fubara is still speaking up. Well, we can hear him. Implementation of Tinubu's resolution not at the detriment of my freedom. What's your take on this? Do you think Fubara is a freedom fighter at this point?
Fubara is a freedom fighter. But the war he's fighting now is against a giant, in the sense that his predecessor, Wike, is some or more or less part of APC, and the government in power at the center is an APC government. And if you read the resolution, actually, That is not a resolution at all. It's a booby trap that he can fall into it anytime. No saint will escape that trap. We have 31 people and 27 were fighting me, and they left and they didn't hide their feelings. They told me quite well, point blank, that we are fighting you. Then you are asking them to come back and dine with me in the same house. Do you know that if you pursue a snake in your house and the snake hides somewhere, it is not an Uhuru dance for you that the snake has escaped? No? You cannot sleep in that house because the snake can come back at the dead of night when you are fast asleep and do the evil. Why do you tell those people to come back and pretend as if nothing happened? Have you been able to disabuse their mind? The person using them, has that person been able to say, okay, I'm no longer interested in this fight? And you say those commissioners that also left, you also come back. On what basis are they coming back? Look, anybody that aims at you, should take a shot at you and misses, it's not your friend. Though. If it's coming to have a handshake with you, just look behind it, whether it's all saying at the same gun. So if he says that it's not a death trap, maybe where political statements are everywhere, it's allowed. But if he goes to bed with 2 eyes sleep, I bet you, Miriam, he will not wake up the following day in the government house.
All right, let's move away from that. But you want to read more on that story, go to page 31 of the Daily Trust. Moving on, flight delays and cancellations worsen as NCAA pleads with passengers. You can read more on that on page 29 of the Daily Trust. How Naira scarcity, devaluation, inflation, and others dominated economy in 2023 is a must-read up that is making it to page 21 of the Daily Trust as well. Moving below, we have Kwankwaso holds special prayer in Kanu ahead of Supreme Court judgment. We know what he's looking forward to what he's actually praying for. But I'm sure Comrade knows more on that. But more details on that you can get on page 18.
Sorry to cut you, Miriam. You know, prayer solves problems. When the apparatus are on ground. When I used to be in secondary school, I attended my secondary school in the West, in Ijebode Grammar School, actually. I had a friend in the class. I don't want to mention his name. I had a friend in the class. I met him in class 1. He was one of the dullest in the whole school. Not even not the dullest, because he spent 5 years between classes 1 and 2, and they asked him to leave. So when the mathematics teacher enters into the class, he will tell us to escape, and we will escape. On the exam period, we will go and start looking for prayers, short solution to the exams. We never passed. Until I sat down one day, my senior brother sat me down and I said, look, this thing you must know. He engaged me almost 24 hours out of that 2 months holiday we normally have. And my head was struck with all the subjects. When I got to the class, I was surprised that even in class 3, I was a lecturer, I was a teacher. So if I had not done that, which prayer would have put those things into my head? In class 5, when we were preparing for school start then, we had no accounting lecturer. The school called upon me to come and be teaching. You see, one day I was on the board, shouting out facts. I never knew the principal was by the door. She was just standing there because she was a woman. I don't know whether she's still, but I pray she's still around by now. Then one of the students asked a very nasty question. And I told him, look, my friend, I'm a student like you. My study here does not make me a teacher. I'm only helping out because we don't have a teacher. And even this question you are asking me, we are not there yet. That topic is still about, we still have about a 4 topic before that one. The principal just entered. As I saw her, I was afraid. I would say, no, continue. I've been listening to you ever since. Hey, you that asked that question, stand up. You are not ashamed. Your mate is standing by the board teaching you. You are asking stupid and irrelevant questions. Look at yourself. At that stage, my morale got boosted. Say, my friend, continue. What's that your name again? I mentioned my name. Say, continue. Now, if I had not read those things, what would have happened? Number one, would I have been able to stand by the board and teach? Number 2, would prayers have put those things in my head? Nobody is saying that prayer is not important. It is very, very important because that is a means of talking to God, means of communication, channels of communication between you and your God. But there must be some things you should do before those prayers can be answered. It's just like now me praying that, oh God, make me the chairman of CBN. How possible?
All right, moving away from that, Israel kills over 100 at Gaza refugee camp on Christmas Eve. Wow, quite a sad one there indeed. It seems as though the Israeli and the war over there has not abated in any way. The
war cannot abate, because it is a divine pronunciation from God himself.
Well, more details on that on page 32. Kuka to Tinubu, you have no excuses. God won't forgive you if you fail. Quite a bold statement there, but you can read more details on that on page 3. Federal workers observe Christmas without December salaries. We have 3 writers to that. It says we're not in charge of payment, says the HOS. And also it's been worked on, says the Accountant General. And also officials blame technical hitches. More details on this on page 7 of the Daily Trust newspaper. And well, for the picture of the day is in connection with the major headline there, which is talking about 145 individuals that were killed by bandits attacks in 23 Plateau villages. You can see burnt vehicles and mass grave diggings. Quite a sad one there. But more details on that on page 4 of the Daily Trust. The final paper for review this morning is The Punch. And the major headline there states 13 states plan fresh 2.3 trillion naira borrowing. The writer there says states loans hit 4.73 trillion naira. Abia and Niger to raise debt profile by over 200%. And also states engaging in reckless borrowing despite owing salaries, says the NLC. Yes, more details on that on page 2. And moving on from Rivers, it says PDP fumes as Fubara defends Tinubu over peace deal. It's making it to page 2. Over 50 killed, soldiers injured in multiple Plateau attacks is also making it to page 7. And also CBN investigator summons Lemo and others over Union Bank deal. You can read more details on that on page 22. Moving down below, we have Naira weekends at 1,233 Naira per dollar at Pearl Market. More details. Yes, 1,233 Naira per dollar at Pearl Market. You can read more details on that. It's quite obvious Conrad didn't buy anything from the overseas. We didn't import anything at this point.
Yes, we didn't import, but it's impact on all aspects of life because the Nigerian economy has been dollarized, whether we like it or not. If you buy something from the UK, the US, or let's just say the Western world, it's going to affect it through the exchange rate.
Yes.
So whether you buy or not, even the garri you buy in the market, the tomatoes you buy in the market have been impacted with that. The increase in the dollar rate. So at the end of the day, whether you buy, whether you do not buy, you are paying the high price.
Yes, well, you can read more of that on page 24 of the Punch newspaper. And page 4 and 5 of the Punch is always a puncher. It says suspected cultists kill Edo broadcaster on Christmas Eve. Yes, quite a sad one. There is pictures actually beside that story. May he so rest in perfect peace. That story on page 4 and 5 of the Punch. 11 killed in Oshun and Lagos-Ibadan Expressway crashes. He's also making it on page 4 and 5 of the Punch. And well, for the picture of the day, we see the headline that says Christmas. Army chiefs visit Sokoto and hails gallant soldiers battling insecurity. And you can see the soldiers there. I think, yes, I see that that's a buffet as well. But you can get more details on that on page 12 of the Punch newspaper. And well, at this point, we've taken all the headlines that made the rounds, or rather that made the dailies this morning, and papers we took with the Nation, the Punch, as well as the Daily Trust. It is now time for me to open the phone line so you could call into the show and be a part of the show. And yes, when you're calling in, do well to state your name and your location and then have your say. Yes, the numbers to call are on your screen, and for radio, they remain the same, 081 88 888 931 and also 0022 931 931. Let's take our first call for the morning. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. Welcome. Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas to you, what family?
Family is quite well.
My good brother, Edomo.
Yeah, God bless you. Hope you kept my lap of chicken because I don't eat ram this period. Amaroma, Okokoma.
Ejisa.
Do? You listen to that. I was born and bred in the West. I was born in Ijebu actually. I attended Ijebu the grammar school before I relocated to Lagos.
Thank you, sir.
God bless you.
Okay. Talking about prayer and I think prayer is good, but we have to walk too, as you say. We have to walk. They are talking about the defense chief, saying that Nigeria should take charge of security. Yeah, that statement is well said, but it's suspicious. You don't have to relinquish your office to the citizens. Please, the citizen can complement, but you have to take charge of your office by doing the needful. So that we have a perfect security in this country. Don't relinquish your office. We're not sharing the money with you. Please help Nigerians so that we have a perfect security. Happy Christmas, Nigerians.
All right.
God bless you, Friday.
God bless you as well.
God bless Quest.
But
Thank
did you
you
remember to
very
tell us
much.
whether it's bringing chicken or not?
Thank you very much. We're also taking calls here on the newspaper review on Quest today. And today we have time to take those calls. Hello? 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 We can barely hear you. All right, it seems as though we have lost that call. We'll be right back right now. We have to go on a short break. Don't touch that dial.
You are watching Quest TV.
Yes, welcome back. If you're just joining us, we are still on the newspaper review on Quest today. Yes, before we went on that break, we had 3 newspapers. We had the Punch, we had the Nation newspaper, as well as the Daily Trust. And at this point, we are still taking phone calls because it's your time for you to be able to call into the show and have your say regarding the headlines that made the rounds. Yes, still with me this morning in the studio is Comrade Efe Odomo, yes, enlightening us on the headlines on some of the matters that made the rounds on the dailies. And yes, the numbers to call are still the same: 081 88 931 and 08022 931 931. Do not forget to state your name and your location before you have your say, and also do not forget to turn down the volume of your TV or your radio set so we don't have any sort of interference. Yes, and let's return back to our calls. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, ma.
Yes, good morning, sir. Merry Christmas to you. And welcome.
Hello, what's that?
Yeah, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you, sir.
Hope you married well yesterday.
Probe into 500, yes, sir. Probe into 500 billion acquisition of union banks.
Yes.
SBN government involved. Now, it's true that the people yesterday, they were talking of acquisition, denying acquisition of foreign banks and account of these ones. Now, we are not saying that revenue should not be proved, but there's something that is very, very, very common about this probe now. Before Buhari handed over, he was accused of being a terrorist sponsored by the same EFCC. Nothing came out of that investigation. And before all these charges, before you know, they will just increase them. They increase the charges. So they should be thorough, for Christ's sake. They should be thorough. We don't say anyone that is found to be corrupt should be probed and even set to jail. Even the president himself and all the other ministers. We're not saying that maybe should not be proved, for Christ's sake. Then again, Pope calls for peace among warring nations.
Yes.
Denounce arms industry. The truth that we have to really pray for. I know we comment like power is the greatest power a man has. I know people are fighting to know how this will be peace in the Middle East. You know, the problem that when you look at the stance of Hamas and of course the stance of Israel, you find that the peace becomes very, very, very difficult to really have. But we pray that the United Nations Security Council, that there should be occasional ceasefire so strong. We need peace in that place. Where Christ is born and there's no peace in that place today. We pray that there should be peace. Then finally, killing 145 people in Plateau State. Take ownership of security, defense test Nigeria. Now, like Congress said, now how are we going to take care of ourselves without being armed? So the truth that the federal government should look at this security problem and turn at where we can really resolve it. If people have to state policing, even community policing should have to. But if they feel that we should really arm ourselves, they should legalize gun for basic. Because people don't want to be killed every now and then. Have a good day, man.
Right, thank you very much. Yes, but you still have time to be able to call into the show and then have your opinions regarding the matters that are arising on the dailies this morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to the show. Your name and your location.
I am an auditor of the Nero Police calling from the Katami.
All right, welcome on board. Please have your say.
The statement of the governor of River State, Kubara,
Yes.
that the agreement or resolution they had with the Tinubu is not a great sentence. In fact, I want to commend that governor. Since this crisis started, he has carefully used his words. That people have even integrated against the protesting this. When this crisis was on, those protesting, what move did they take to resolve this issue? Now that the president came in, and this matter has been resolved like this, they started protesting again. They don't want the crisis to continue. I think with the resolution done by our president, President Tinubu, I think River State will have peace for now. Let all those who are protesting, condemning the settlement, to have a think of what they are saying. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much and have a Merry Christmas. Well, comrade, you did hear his reaction regarding what he said about Fubara. Says he's been playing the safe. Do you think Fubara has actually been playing the safe card, or has he actually been wise about the decisions and words he has been using so far?
Yes, Fubara is playing safe, and you know quite well that if you are dining with a stronger person, you have to be very careful. You have to be watchful about your own movement. Some people said he wouldn't have signed that agreement in the first place. But you should know quite well that he was in a foreign land. Foreign land in the sense that that place is outside his domain. Anything can happen. So it's just like let my people go, what was he did. Don't forget the issue of Alamisia and Obasanjo in those days. When Alamisia was sent by, he came back to Nigeria in a woman dress, as we were told. Whether true or false, what happens is the story then. He doesn't want to fall into such traps anymore. One thing teaches a lot of people lessons. And if he has signed, even under duress, like some people are claiming, and he has the right to say he was forced to sign under duress. Because nobody actually wants to be governor and you are removed for no reason. Because what they are fighting for is no reason. The crux of the fight is demolishing the structure that they brought him in. That was what the predecessor is claiming, that he should leave the structure in place so that others can climb by it. He's throwing the ladder away. But I also want to ask the predecessor, the ladder in which he used to climb to that position, where did he keep it? Did he?
Now, still on this Fubara's case, even on the front page of the Punch, it says PDP fumes as Fubara defends Tinubu over the peace deal.
Yeah,
do you think the PDP is in the right way?
The right track, but again, to this a political issue we are discussing. You don't hold it with all rigidity. The man is in the office. His principal remains the opposition party, which is APC, and that is where the president of the country comes from. So he cannot be too hard. He dances here, he dances there. Definitely, I believe the man is sensible enough to know what he's doing. Even if it's not too much comfortable or it's not at home with the peace agreement, there is something little he can still do to save his head. He doesn't want to offend the power that be. Look, the only, after God is government of any nation. Yes, the power of the government is so enormous that you can be seated here, they come and they whisper away. Nobody, even myself sitting by you, will not even know. So the guy is trying to play safe.
All right, well, one thing we can do is take more calls here on the newspaper review on Quest today. And the numbers are still the same, 081 88 888 931 and 080 931 931. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
We can barely hear you. Hello, good morning.
Speaking from Mororo.
All right, welcome. Please have your say.
I just want to comment on 6 points. First is the River State issue. Those who are commenting on the matter, look at the issues involved. I think the governor is towing the state line is wise. To go contrary, he will be removed. He could be impeached. Or the federal government could declare a state of emergency in that place. You read the handwriting very well, like I said a few days back. I think Wike and those legislators that are backing are climbing to a different party other than the party that brought the things there. So the governor is on his safe ground, pushing him on, he will lose out. Then the payment to federal workers whatever the hitches, whatever the problem is, I am appealing that they should pay us, the pensioners, who are our members are continuing to make inquiries. They should fasten the whole thing and pay so that people can have their money to pay. And two, whatever they are giving to, promise to be given to people, they are not reaching us. Nothing has been divided to the senior citizens. I don't know the criteria they use in sharing whatever. I am appealing to them. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. But yes, we're still able to take calls here on the show. We have about 10 more minutes before we round things here up on the newspaper review. Yes, hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
This man, I have to come back because of what this is what I hear again.
All right.
Implementation of Tinubu's directive, not application of masculinity or death trap, Obara. Then again, PDP choose that Obara dispense to the Tinubu's agreement.
Yeah.
So I think I really, this governor is a sensible man. We don't know what Tinubu knew about this man. We don't know what this man was doing. Because all of them are very desperate people. Wicked himself, he doesn't make an articulate. Even the governor himself, by bombing and so please, I think we need peace in this thing. If there is commission or mission, instead of the governor will be the biggest loser. Please, you should have this one in mind. So I told the governor, please let the city school for the time being and time it could be resolved and improve the social question. Have a good day, man.
All right, thank you very much, and thank you very much for calling back, to have your say. Well, comrade,
yes,
a headline that made my touched my attention. I did, jab you a bit about it, but we've not really talked about it. Naira weakens to 1,233 naira per dollar at the parallel market. It seems as though are we ever going to see this naira drop down at all? Because I remember at one point earlier during the course of the show, I think last month or somewhere there, you did say there was a how do we call it now? Someone foresaw, and said, okay, that yes, the naira will rise up, but at some point, especially come next year, it will come down. Do you still see this happening? Or are you pessimistic or optimistic, or are you rather optimistic?
The person who foresaw is late now. He did prophesy, like you people normally say, that let us pray without walking, let us pray, we'll continue to pray. We are still praying. I don't know whether you have prayed this morning. The person is late now. When he said Naira will stabilize at 1,000 to $1, now it has gone beyond that. So we will not take that prophecy seriously anymore. Actually, the Naira will continue to have a free fall. Because we are not doing anything to arrest it. Let us be factual. It's not when you say the truth or you actually tell them what the position is that they call you an agitator. No, it is those people who refuse the change that will make things good that are the agitators. Tell me, if Nigeria is well today, will you be asking for what you are not supposed to ask for? We are talking about our Naira free fall. What are we doing to shore up our economic base? And why must we continue to rely on only one source of revenue in this modern day world where people are diversifying? We talk about oil. The oil is drying up in our market. Tell me in the next 50 years, if no new oil well is discovered in Nigeria, we will be out of oil business. What happens to the generations then? Because I know quite well that I don't need the prophets to tell me that I will no longer be around in 50 years' time. You can still be around. Yes, you can still be around. But we have to do something to expand our economic base. Why don't we look into agriculture? Why can't we look into the IT world? Why can't we look into transportation? Why are we still running a dummy government? When I use mean dummy government, it's not only the federal government, the state or the local, including every one of us. Though the citizen can be excused because we don't have that manpower, the social amenities to carry out the social responsibilities. Tell me how long or when last did we witness electricity in some parts of this country? And if you are telling me that if you stabilize the electricity and if we even have it about 20 hours a day, if you see the rate Nigeria will be transformed, you will be surprised. You will ask yourself, is this Nigeria? But most of all these things we need to try. The federal government is withholding them from us. You have changed the names of NEPA from ECN to NEPA, from NEPA to PACN, from PACN now they don't even have a common name again. Everywhere is balkanized. We have BDEC, we have IKDEC, we have ANAM DEC, we have Kano DEC. Everyone is just decking. There is nothing that we are decking out of it. They did not face that issue. I even learned that they even tried to look at the privatization of Now you privatize something, say the individual should handle it. Fine, quite and well. Make my bill 20,000 naira in a month. Give me light, I will pay that money because the convenience is there. The cost of fuel for that period cannot be measured. Give us that one first. Then forget about it. You will see how creative Nigerians are. But nobody is talking about that one. We're only looking at, oil has gone on. Now they're telling us Port Harcourt refinery was. Is it not like this will they say it will take off? Now we're waiting for it. How many areas will that one service? When are they going to work on the Kaduna refinery? When are they going to work on the Warri refinery? When are they going to work in the pump channels, the Mosimi and Co? When are they going to start working on all these things? Why don't we not say, okay, if you want to go into agriculture, even as a graduate, why you want to go into agriculture? Let us give you a free landing field for some time. Give them the seedlings, give them the enabling environment, give them the manure which to carry out, then make them feel like normal people in the society. Because in this part of the world, when the ones who say you're a farmer, they look down on you. They say, who is son of that farmer? Don't let him come here, we are busy. No. But when they know that they are also part of the society, they are respected and treated as senior citizens. Tell me why most things change. Now we are not exporting anything, we are importing. Nigeria imports toothpick. And we want the naira to show up. We import common razor blade. We want the Nigeria to show up. 2 years ago, the chairman committee on establishment in the House of Reps said his achievement was establishing an industry that produces kilichi. What will that one do for us? Kilichi. I mean, even 90% of the country, 90% of Nigerians don't even eat kilichi.
Well, comrade, let's not go into that. I'm quite sure you ate kilichi. But let's take calls. Let's take calls from Daltons. I'm sure those that even eat kilichi are listening to us right now. Yes, the numbers are still the same. 08188888891 and also 080200022931931. Yes, let's take calls before we round things up here on the show. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, welcome. Your name and location?
Friday Kaki from Upper Island.
All right, welcome on board. Please have your say.
So I want to talk about the issue of Mekele. So this man is not the only man that committed the offense of whether looting money or whatever. Why Mekele is so different from our leaders, our past presidents? Why they not be given probes? Tomorrow you will hear Mekele was given a 200 can charges. Next tomorrow 500 can charges. You want to kill this man? This man should be released. Because none of all these leaders will be probed one day. Have a good day, man. All
right, thank you very much. Well, comrade, quickly react to that before we round things here up on the newspaper review.
Yesterday, somebody said, if Abacha were not to be late now, would they probe him? That's a very, very, very serious question. You cannot probe Emefiele without heads rolling. From the presidency, the man has no that autonomy to run that place without interference from anybody.
But he's currently being probed already.
That is not the type of probe we want. Somebody said, the former governor of Sokoto State said arrest even the executive arm of government during that period. I've been talking about it. How can you tell me that the president was not aware of the Naira redesign? And the new Naira notes were being spent, they were being used while he was still in office. So does it mean he was not in office at all? Does it mean he was not in the country? That such things will take place? That is a treasonable felony offense. For somebody to open his mouth to say the president was not aware that the Naira, his own currency was changed. It's absurd. Now, the man has operated those accounts, 539 million. Are you also telling me that when he was looking at those accounts, there were no reference? Are you telling me that they never asked for any instrument of collateral? Are you telling me that they never even say who are the signatories to this account? How can those money leave the economy without the federal government, the Minister of Finance, the Minister of Justice are not aware? Miriam, we are no longer talking to children. I think we have some investors in Nigeria now. We are no longer illiterate,
Well, comrade, you have spoken well today, but we have to round things here up on the newspaper review on Quest today. But thank you very much for coming, despite the fact that I know you do have a lot of boxing to do today, as today happens to be Boxing Day.
Yes, I'm already warming up.
You're already warming up, but you are not dressed for Boxing Day anyway. But yes, dear people, thank you very much for for keeping it real here on the newspaper review on Quest. And also we thank the Vanguard for sponsoring the newspaper review here on Quest today. Thank you very much for keeping it real here on Quest today. And have yourself a lovely Merry Christmas.